Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today into plant-based living and sustainability, all connected, right? We're going to be looking at fork and fry going green for this one. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, actually. How our food choices affect the planet.
Well, and that's what's interesting about fork and fry going green, They're really saying that veganism, it's not just what you eat, it's like a whole lifestyle thing woven into sustainability. Like they argue that every choice you make, like what you eat, what you buy, how you even live, it all impacts the planet.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, I'll admit I'm not vegan, but I'm always trying to learn more. So, can you remind us, what exactly is veganism?
Yeah, they define it as abstaining from all animal products, and they're really emphasizing all. So it's not just food, clothing, cosmetics, anything that comes from animals. No leather, no honey, like the whole 9 yards.
Right, it's making choices, but in every part of your life. But let's talk about the environment for a second. We hear so much about animal agriculture and how it contributes to climate change. But Fork and Fry, they have the stat. Shifting to veganism, it could cut food-related emissions by, get this, 70% by 2050.
70%, that's wild.
I know, that's a lot.
It is, yeah. Think about it, all that land that we're using to raise cattle that could be reforested and, create these massive carbon sinks, right? Plus, raising all that livestock, it takes so many resources, water, feed, and it creates methane, which is like way worse than carbon dioxide as a greenhouse gas.
Yeah, true. So it's like by choosing plant-based food, it's not just healthier for us, we're actually helping to fight climate change.
Totally. Fork and Fry really argues that it's one of the most impactful things an individual can do to reduce their footprint, their environmental footprint.
Okay, I'm sold, but let's be honest, going full vegan overnight, pretty daunting. Any advice for those of us who want to take it slow? Start small.
Yeah, they suggest easing into it. Try having one vegan meal a day, or like doing meatless Mondays, meatless Monday, or like swapping out regular milk for plant-based milks. There are so many options now. Oat milk, almond milk, cashew milk. Oh, and also exploring new recipes. There's a whole world of plant-based food out there. So much good stuff.
That reminds me, the question everyone always asks, where do you get your protein? Like, how do you do it?
Right, Fork and Fry addresses that directly. Plant-based diets, they totally can give you all the protein you need. Beans, lentils, tofu, quinoa, nuts. They emphasize combining different sources, though, to get all the amino acids.
It's like building a balanced plate, but with plants. But what about other things we usually get from animal products, like iron and B12?
Good one. A lot of plant-based foods have iron, but they do suggest in Fork and Fry to focus on things like leafy greens and legumes and pair them with vitamin C stuff to boost absorption. And for B12, yeah, you might want to consider fortified foods or supplements because it's not really in plant-based stuff naturally.
Got to be mindful and make sure you're getting everything your body needs. Any other good tips from Fork and Fry for making those delicious and healthy meals?
Oh, yeah. They're big on herbs and spices. Instead of just salt and sugar experiment, it's way healthier and adds so much flavor.
That's awesome advice. Now, they talk about setting up your kitchen. Like, what are some tips to make this transition to plant-based a little easier?
They say to declutter, like really go through your kitchen. Ties out old stuff, those tempting snacks that aren't vegan, and make room for all the fresh new stuff. Stock up on fruits and veggies, grains, legumes, nuts and seeds, all that good stuff.
Time for a grocery haul. What about equipment? Anything special I should get?
They're big on good knives, like really sharp knives to chop all those veggies. Oh, and a cast iron skillet is a game changer. Tofu, roasting veggies, it's perfect for everything.
Okay, so pantry stocked, knives are sharp, ready to cook. What about social stuff? Like eating out or going to parties. As a new vegan, that could be tough.
Yeah, Fork and Fry has got you covered. When you're going to a restaurant, look up the menu online beforehand, see if they have vegan options. If you're going to a party, be proactive. Bring your own dish, something delicious, obviously.
Love that. It's like showing people how good plant-based can be. But what if they start asking you all these questions about why you're doing it?
Honestly, just be open, communicate, tell them why you're choosing this lifestyle, but in a positive way. Be respectful. It's a conversation, not a lecture.
That's a great way to think about it, respecting each other. So we've talked about the food part of veganism, but Fork and Fry going green, it goes beyond that, right? Like sustainable shopping and eco-friendly living are part of it too.
Totally. They're saying a truly green lifestyle. It's in every part of your life. It's about thinking hard about what you buy and making choices that support a sustainable future.
So how do we do that? What are some concrete changes we can make in our daily lives to like make less of an impact?
Simple swaps. Instead of those plastic bags at the store, bring your own reusable bags. Choose personal care products that are cruelty-free. Think about supporting sustainable fashion brands like, Patagonia. They're known for being ethical and environmentally responsible.
Oh man, the reusable bags. I always forget those. Small change though, but it adds up. What else is easy to switch up?
Buy in bulk, it creates less packaging waste. And making your own cleaning products, natural stuff like vinegar and baking soda. You avoid harsh chemicals, and it's better for the environment. It's a win-win.
It's crazy how these small changes can make a big difference. But what about when you mess up? Or when it all feels too big, like the environment? It's just so overwhelming.
Fork and Fry gets that. It's a journey, not a sprint. They're all about progress over perfection. Everyone makes mistakes. The point is to learn, keep trying, keep going.
Yeah, focus on what you're doing right, not on beating yourself up over sleep-ups.
Exactly. And find your people, find a community. Fork and Fry really encourages that. Online, in person, whatever works for you. Support each other, learn from each other, stay motivated.
Community is everything. So we've covered a lot, basics of veganism, sustainable living tips, but I'm wondering, are there any like less obvious things Fork and Fry suggest for going green, those aha moments?
Well, they really want you to think bigger than just yourself. They want you to think about the system, the changes we need on a larger scale, talking about food policy, supporting sustainable businesses, advocating for policies that protect the environment and animals.
Wow, that's a great point. Our choices ripple outward, right? And we can use our voices to make change happen.
Exactly. Sustainability is an ongoing conversation. It's learning and growing. It's understanding that unchoices are connected and working together to make the world better for us and for the future.
It really is inspiring when you think about it. How much we can do when we're all making these choices. It's not just us alone, right? It's creating a whole movement for a more sustainable future.
Yeah. And Fork and Fry really hits on that. It's the power of like community collective action. It's about helping each other out, sharing making our voices heard, advocating for a food system that's fair and sustainable.
That's what I've always loved about the plant-based movement. There's just this like really cool collaborative spirit, people sharing recipes and tips, being really supportive.
Absolutely. And Fork and Fry, they say, like, plug into that. Find your community. Online forums, local groups, heck, even just your friends and family who are into the same stuff. It's about building that support system, keeping each other inspired.
So important, especially when things get hard or you feel lost, like, what am I doing? It's good to know you're not alone.
Right. And Fork and Fry reminds us, like, sustainability, it's not just what's on your plate, it's everything. How you get around, how much energy you use, what you do with your trash.
It's seeing those connections, right, between our everyday stuff and how it affects the planet.
Exactly. They even talk about transportation, like instead of always driving, could you bike, walk, take the bus, and then energy at home, like using efficient appliances, turning off lights when you leave a room, unplugging things.
Easy to forget about those little things, but yeah, they add up.
Oh, and waste. Fork and Fry, they're all about getting creative, composting food scraps, using those reusable containers instead of plastic wrap, finding ways to like repurpose things instead of just tossing them.
I've been meaning to start composting. It feels so good to do something so simple, giving back to the earth.
It is, and it's pretty amazing, like watching your food scraps turn into soil. You can use it in your garden or give it to a community garden.
That ties back into community, right? What we do has a ripple effect.
Fork and Fry, they also say, think about where you spend your money. Support those businesses that are doing good, local farmers markets, stores that prioritize sustainability, companies that are ethical and environmentally responsible.
Yeah. It's like voting with your wallet for the kind of world you want.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that power, that our choices can actually influence change for ourselves and for everyone.
I really like how Fork and Fry keeps emphasizing this idea of progress over perfection. It's a journey, not a competition. We're going to mess up sometimes.
It's so important to hear that, because it's easy to get caught up in trying to be perfect and then feel bad when you're not. Fork and Fry is like, hey, celebrate the wins, learn from the mistakes, just keep moving forward.
Enjoy the process, right? Finding that joy in building a sustainable life.
That's it. And remember, every little thing you do, it all adds up. It all contributes. We're all in this together, working towards a world that's healthier, fairer, more sustainable for everyone, now and in the future.
Fork and Fry Going Green has really given us a lot to think about. I'm feeling inspired, energized, ready to keep exploring plant-based living and just making more mindful choices. What about you? Anything that really stuck with you today?
Honestly, it's the community aspect. Like, yeah, the problems can feel huge, but Fork and Fry reminds us you're not alone. There are so many people out there fighting for a sustainable future, and if we work together, we can actually make a
I
difference.
couldn't agree more. Finding your people, supporting each other. That's where it starts. And then making those choices day after day. The food we eat, the things we buy, the way we live.
Fork and Fry, they're like a guide, they give you the tools, the stories, the resources. They want you to make that change to a more sustainable way of life.
They remind us that we actually have the power to make a difference. Every choice matters. And when we all start making those choices, wow, the world can change.
So if you're feeling that spark, that inspiration, go check out Fork and Fry Going Green. Their website, www.forkandfry.com. They have tons of recipes, tips, all that good stuff.
And follow them on social media. They're always posting inspiring things.
We want to hear from you guys too. What are your go-to plant-based dishes? What sustainable swaps have you made? What are you struggling with? How did you overcome it? Tell us.
Come hang out with us on social media or visit our website, www.forkandfry.com. We'd love to connect and keep talking about all this. Wow, this deep dive into Fork and Fry Going Green has been really eye-opening. They're clearly passionate about, well, veganism, obviously, but also just this whole, like, bigger idea of living more sustainably.
Yeah, what I really liked was their approach. It's not about, guilt tripping you or preaching. It's more like, hey, here's the info. Here are some things you can actually do. It's empowering.
Right. And I appreciate that they talk about the real struggles, like cravings or, like, what do you do when you're out with friends? And they actually give you real solutions.
And they're not afraid to zoom out and look at the bigger picture, connecting those everyday choices to the systems we need to change, like pushing for policies that support sustainability and the food system that's actually fair.
It's that mix, personal action, but also like working together to change the system. That's powerful. And it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. Knowing that every choice, it really does make a difference.
Fork and Fry, they do a great job of showing that sustainability, it's not just some vague idea. It's about creating a life that's good for you, good for the planet, good for, everyone in the future.
And it can be fun, trying new foods, meeting people who get it, knowing you're doing something good.
Totally. So, listeners, we really encourage you to check out Fork and Fry Going Green yourselves.
Their website, www.forkandfry.com, it's full of like recipes and tips and all sorts of good stuff.
And follow them on social media, even more inspiration there. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the deep dive, too. Like, what really resonated with you? What are you thinking about changing in your own life?
Hit us up on social media or head over to our website. Let's keep the conversation going, support each other as we work towards a greener, healthier, more sustainable future for all of us.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, keep making those positive changes.